Poonch Attack of 12 Division, Operational Failures of Pakistan Army in 1971, Lack of Understanding of Artillery, and Ignorance of Defensive Power of Weapons. Poonch Attack of 12 Division. This short book highlights the most important, most crucial Pakistan Army operational failure of 1971 war, lack of understanding of artillery, and ignorance of defensive power of weapons. Three major battles are analyzed where the above mentioned ignorance and incompetence led to major operational failures. The first major operational failure was at Poonch, where the 12 division attack failed. Pakistani military historians are severely handicapped because military history is monopolized by a highly incompetent lot selected on personal likes and dislikes and parochial basis, known as Army Institute of Military History. These pathetically mediocre characters do not share basic information and spend most of their time in working hours in socializing and apple polishing so that their unfair opponents are consolidated and prolonged. However, with very limited information, this scribe has worked very hard for almost 40 years, and this book is the culmination of this most arduous and 4 decade long hard work. Poonch attack operation was commanded by Major General Akbar Khan, who had limited understanding of artillery. Preceding 12 Division, he had spent 5 years as head of the Inter-Services Intelligence and was not really a clued up field commander. He had commanded 105 Independent Brigade in 65 war, where Pakistan enjoyed considerable numerical superiority, and the offensive objectives assigned to the brigade were extremely limited in depth. In Suleiman-Ki battle, Akbar ordered a badly planned attack involving a company of 1st Baluch, where the company suffered very high fatal casualties. In the Poonch attack, the Pakistani General Headquarters overestimated numerical superiority of the Pakistan Army opposite Poonch and allotted impossible tasks to Pakistan Army's 12th Division. The weakest link was the Pakistani Chief of General Staff, who had most limited basic understanding of operational strategy and tactics. The Poonch attack involved complex infiltration operations in very high mountains, where it was humanly possible for Pakistani artillery to suppress Indian defensive positions and to support Pakistani attacks. The attack was launched with 26 AK Brigade and 2 AK Brigade. The attack was launched with 26 Brigade and 2 AK Brigade. 26 Brigade tasked to carry out the main attack comprised 9 Azad Kashmir Battalion, 16 Azad Kashmir Battalion, 9 Azad Kashmir Battalion. Each battalion was supported by a mountain battery of 105mm pack howitzers. 2 AK Brigade was tasked to carry out a frontal attack comprised 5 FF Battalion, 7 AK Battalion, 19 AK Battalion, 1 mountain artillery battery was to support each battalion. 51 Punjab was divisional reserve but placed to support 2 AK Brigade when ordered. It was fallaciously assumed by 12th Division headquarters that Indian 93 Brigade would abandon Poonch salient if Pakistani attacking battalions of 26 Brigade would threaten his deep rear at Chandak Ridge. 12th Division commander's tactical understanding was limited and he mistakenly assumed that 26 Brigade's main attacking battalion could dislodge Indian 11 Jammu and Kashmir Militia Battalion with a 1-to-1 parity and just supported by a mountain battery of artillery. The logistic understanding of Major General Akbar was also very limited, and his divisional staff was equally incompetent. Akbar assumed that somehow, if two battalions of 26th Brigade infiltrated bypassing 11 Jammu and Kashmir, holding Guthriyan and Shahpur Ridge, the Indian 93rd Brigade commander holding Poonch salient would lose his nerve and order abandonment of Poonch salient. The style of command of Major General Akbar was to sit in his headquarters and lead the battle by field telephone and wireless rather than leading from the front. 26th Brigade Commander Javed Ilyas was very good on paper, having served in cushy staff and instructional appointments, but not the ideal man to lead 26th Brigade tasked to attack in high mountains. Javed Ilyas also preferred commanding from the rear. Pakistan's Azad Jammu Kashmir region was considered a low priority region in Pakistan's defense scheme, and the troops here mostly comprised the Azad Kashmir battalions, which some years earlier were paramilitary troops and regarded as second line troops. The 2 AK Brigade commander Mir Ijaz Mahmood was a famous playboy and not the right field commander to lead an infantry brigade in mountain operations. Commissioned in 4FF, Brigadier Mir Ijaz Mahmood commanded the newly raised 23FF in the Sadewala post operation after 1965 war in November 1965. The intensity of this action may be gauged from the fact that 23FF lost just 8 killed in total. However, Mir Ijaz Mahmood was awarded a Sitara Jurat. It is difficult to comment about the merits of this award. However, Pakistan Army War Hero Major General Tajammul Hussain Malik, who this scribe interviewed in September 2001, described 80% Pakistani gallantry awards as bogus and awarded on fictitious citations. Whatever the case, from what this scribe gauged after interviewing many direct participants of Poonch operation, Brigadier Mir Ijaz Mahmood had deteriorated by 1971. As we will see in this narrative, the three battalions under his command behaved pathetically in the Poonch operations. As we will see in this short book, 2 AK Brigade units under Mir Ijaz Mahmood behaved most disgracefully and were a major blot on Pakistan Army's reputation. As you can see from this map, this is the main brigade attacking the Poonch operation. The 26th Brigade, as you can see, 16 AK, 9 AK, and 26 AK. And this is the brigade of Brigadier Mir Ijaz Mahmood, 5FF, 19 AK, and 17 AK. As you can see, this is Poonch, and this is the rough area of operations. The Pakistani divisional and infantry brigade commanders lacked boldness and preferred to command the attack from the safety of their rear headquarters. This left the attacking troops demoralized and irresolute. 12th Division had already lost surprise before the actual war, as Indians were alerted by track construction to deploy artillery batteries and other activities. Indians reinforced Poonch sector with 33 Brigade in the area south of 93 Brigade, while actually deploying 13 Mahar of 33 Brigade inside 93 Brigade area in mid-November 1971. Indian 93 Brigade was defending Poonch salient with 4 battalions deployed as below. As you can see, 4 by 1 Gorkha on the left, 6 Sikh in the center, 11 Jammu and Kashmir militia on the right, and 8 Jat in the depth, and 13 Mahar was brought from the other brigade as reserve, as you can see. 26th Brigade main attack. The brigade was commanded by Brigadier Javed Ilyas from the Frontier Force Regiment, who the scribe remembered seeing in Staff College Quetta, where he was colleague of my uncle Lieutenant Colonel Agha Manzoor Rauf. My father and uncle described Javed Ilyas at that time as an outstanding officer. However, sadly, 26th Brigade in Poonch operation was a complete failure. This may be attributed to bad leadership and artillery fire planning from the division down to brigade level. 26th Brigade's leading battalion, 26 AK, was a complete failure because it was only supported by one mountain battery. As you can see, 26 AK, the leading battalion, is a complete failure at Shahpur and Guthriyan because of miserly allocated artillery support. As you can see, 26 AK was supposed to lead the attack and was a complete failure. As you can see, 9 AK and 16 AK behind 26 AK were to simply bypass and infiltrate into the deep Indian rear, and it was thought that Indian 93 Brigade commander would somehow lose his nerve. A debriefing and an analysis much repeated in the Military Operations Directorate while my father was posted there in 1973-74. Brigadier Fazli Chishti, commanding 12 Division Artillery, was not known for originality and dynamism, but a typical career-minded officer who played safe and strictly stuck to the book. Although this officer had served in the Kashmir area in 1945 and 65 war, he was not known for dynamism. Major General Akbar Khan also had an extremely limited understanding of artillery. He did not see any harsh operational test in the 1965 in Suleimanki sector and was out of touch with field soldiering, having spent 5 years in cushy desk job heading the ISI. 26 AK failure to defeat 11 Jammu and Kashmir militia was the decisive nail in the coffin of the Pakistani Poonch operation. It appears that 12 Division headquarter never grasped the most essential fact that unless the leading attack battalion defeated the front most Indian battalion along the border, the two infiltrating battalions 9 AK and 16 AK going into the Indian depth could not be supplied. Major General Akbar Khan, as per my father, quoting a discussion held in the Military Operations Directorate in Pakistan Army headquarters in 1973, had rather naively assumed that Indian 93rd Brigade commander would lose his nerve once Pakistani infiltrating units threatened his deep rear from deep communication from Chandak and Buli ridges. This was a seriously flawed assumption on part of Akbar. The Indians launched a very successful counterattack on 9 AK holding Thanpir and Chandak using 13 Mahar. 9 AK suffered serious casualties since it was not possible to supply this battalion with ammunition and provisions. 12th Division was left with no choice but to order withdrawal of this battalion. 9 AK, which infiltrated without any serious opposition in its front, was a total failure in having any impact on the Indian operational posture. It was counterattacked by Indian 13 Mahar and was forced to withdraw as 12th Division was unable to supply it. As you can see from the map, 9 AK operations were a complete failure as they were not supplied from the base and were counterattacked by 13 Mahar. As you can see, 9 AK infiltrated to Thanpir and occupied Buli and Puthi ridges, as you can see. and it was naively assumed that Indian 93rd Brigade commander would lose his nerve seeing Pakistanis in his deep rear. This assumption, this wishful assumption, was totally disproved as the operations prove, and all credit to the Indian 93rd Brigade commander for preserving his resolution and nerve and not getting unnerved. 9 AK suffered only 9 men killed in Poonch battles, which proves that it hardly saw any serious action. 16 AK of 26th Brigade did near zero fighting, reaching Janrola Ridge, which had least effect on Indian operational equilibrium. 12th Division was forced to order withdrawal of this battalion, which suffered only one fatal casualty in the entire Poonch operation. If this battalion had been grouped with 26 AK to attack Guthria, ideally from the flank or rear, it could have had a greater impact. Sadly, Akbar, having spent most of his service in staff jobs, was unable to understand basic operational strategy principles. Now, as you can see, 16 AK operations were a complete failure as they had absolutely no impact on the Poonch battle. 16 AK did zero fighting and suffered lowest casualties in the Poonch battle. As you can see, 16 AK was following the 9 AK and reached Janrola, suffered near zero casualties and had no impact on the Poonch battle. As you can see from this map, hand drawn, totally original map. So plagiarizers should remember that this is an absolutely original map, never before created. 2 AK Brigade. This brigade, tasked with directly attacking Poonch, was the most pathetic failure of 12th Division attack. 12th Division artillery was a total failure in supporting the leading attacking battalion 7 AK, as acknowledged by official history of Pakistan Army artillery. As you can see, most miserable failure of Poonch operation 7 AK soon fails after it leaves its forming up place because of totally failed artillery fire support plan, as stated by artillery historian Major General Shaukat Raza. As you can see, 7 AK was a total failure. It could hardly leave its FUP, and as you can see, had no impact. This is the 7 AK, which failed because of the poor artillery support. Lieutenant Colonel Chishti was my father's instructor in Staff College in 1968, and my father described him as one who never said anything dynamic and went strictly by the directing staff notes known as PINKs. A dynamic fire plan from such a man in the Poonch attack was a vain hope. 7 AK attack failed soon after its forming up place, after it left its forming up place, as artillery fire support ceased to exist mysteriously or inexplicably, as per Pakistan Army's official artillery historian Major General Shaukat Raza. Its total fatal casualties in the Poonch operation were 15 killed, almost all because of Indian artillery fire. 19 AK, the second attacking battalion of 2 AK Brigade, was also a miserable failure. The battalion was tasked to carry out one of the main attacks on Qasba and Chichiya Bandi. The battalion captured Qasba Ridge, which was nominally held but was repulsed at Chichiya Bandi and withdrew back to start line. It lost its commanding officer, Lieutenant Colonel Nawaz, at Chichiya Bandi. From the very low 4 fatal casualties suffered by this battalion at Qasba Ridge, one can assess that the battalion did not face any serious opposing enemy odds. Its commanding officer's death, however, shattered the battalion's morale, and they were part of the completely failed battalions of Poonch operation. As you can see, 19 AK operations were a complete failure as they had absolutely no impact on Poonch battle. 19 AK did little fighting except the death of their commanding officer. Part of 8 Jat attacked this battalion and they fled without any serious resistance. As you can see from the map, the 19 AK operations again had no impact on the operational equilibrium of the Indian Army. 93rd Brigade holding Poonch. 12th Division Artillery was again a miserable failure in supporting this battalion. It was too much to expect an artillery battery to support this battalion. 5FF, the 3rd Battalion of the 2 AK Brigade, was the most disgraceful failure of the 1971 war. This battalion was tasked to launch the main attack on Poonch. The battalion's performance was phenomenally pathetic. It was tasked to capture Kasbah and Banwat initially, but they never reached this place due to poor map reading or incompetence of commanders and kept moving near the border ceasefire line. According to the Pakistan Army official history of 1990 by Major General Shaukat Raza, 5FF lost 4 killed in 1971 war, which clearly proves that this battalion did not do any serious fighting. Strangely, FF regiments officially supported regimental historian Lieutenant General Atikur Rahman exaggerated 5FF casualties to 8 killed in his 1977 published history. As you can see from the map, 5FF behaved most disgracefully and never did anything in Poonch operation except losing its way and marching left and right pointlessly. As you can see, this is the 5FF operation, a miserable failure of the Poonch operation. 51 Punjab. The reserve battalion of the 12th Division was brought in the last phase and tasked to capture Dana Ridge. This battalion was a total failure, but as per Pakistan Army official history, gave false reports that it had captured Dana Ridge. This battalion suffered just 4 fatal casualties. As you can see, most operationally stupid decision of headquarters 12th Division tasking 51 Punjab to launch a suicidal frontal attack which was bound to fail. 51 Punjab launched in the end when Poonch operation had already failed and was also a pathetically dismal failure in its attack on Dana Ridge. It gave false reports that it had captured Dana Ridge, which had no connection with reality. It hardly did any fighting and suffered just 4 fatal casualties. As you can see, this is the attack of the 51 Punjab, the reserve battalion of the 12th Division, launched in vain towards the end of Poonch operation. Result: Poonch operation was a complete failure. However, the divisional commander, being well linked, was promoted 3-star and was a contender for Pakistan Army Chief in 1976. The divisional commander artillery Chishti, who was also well linked and not known for taking any stand, was also well rewarded and rose to 3-star rank. 12th Division Commander graded both 26th Brigade Commander and 2 AK Brigade Commander low, and both officers were superseded and not promoted. The typical scapegoating. However, 12th Division failure started from the divisional commander's level. The greatest failure occurred in 26th Brigade area, where 12th Division was potentially capable of severing the Indian line of communication, but failed because 12th Division headquarters and its artillery commander failed to provide the required artillery support to the main attacking battalion 26 AK. 26 AK suffered the highest casualties in Poonch operation. How the Poonch operation had all the chances of success if Major General Akbar was not a typical mediocre, play safe, subcontinental general. Pakistani writers whitewashed Poonch attack's failure by stating that force ratios were not sufficient to enable Pakistan's 12th Division to succeed in Poonch. This view of Pakistani writers like Shaukat Raza, etc., is a most shallow whitewash of General Akbar's failure at Poonch. In the final analysis of this operation, we saw that 26 Brigade's units almost reached the deep rear of the Indian 93rd Brigade and were threatening its main line of supply near Chandak. Where Major General Akbar went wrong was in his mediocre operational understanding and take no risk approach. This play safe approach certainly helped Akbar in his rise to the second highest rank in the Pakistan Army, a 3-star general, but was his biggest failure as an operational commander in war. Akbar followed the typical ceremonial career which was hallmark of Pakistani army officers who were regarded as good sons and had no risk type life script. Thus he served as battalion commander at Pakistan Military Academy, which was top-notch appointment, served as instructor at Staff College and commanded an independent brigade at Suleiman Ki 1965 war. Akbar also served as Director Military Intelligence and ISI boss from 1965 to 71. His outstanding appointments, however, did not make him the right man to command Pakistan Army's 12th Division in the highly challenging mountain terrain of Kashmir. Akbar managed to concentrate a local superiority which was sufficient to inflict major operational defeat on the Indians. Where he failed was in his use of resources he had in hand and in miserly mediocrity of how he used 7 battalions available to him. Analysis of the Poonch attack and how the attack could have succeeded. If 26th Brigade, the main attack, was sufficiently reinforced with artillery and given more battalions, the Poonch attack could have been a complete success. But Akbar, playing safe, distributed his strength almost equally between 2 AK Brigade and 26th Brigade. And 2 AK Brigade hopelessly led with even 4 battalions and 4 artillery batteries was an absolute failure. So, play safe approach of General Akbar was the main reason for the failure of the Poonch operation. First, Akbar failed to concentrate maximum force in his left wing, the 26th Brigade, which he allocated just 3 battalions. It was in the 26th Brigade area where 12th Division had the greatest chance of defeating Indian 93rd Brigade, and this was possible if Akbar had attacked with 26th Brigade allocated 5 or 6 battalions and maximum artillery support. Instead, Akbar allotted maximum force to 2 AK Brigade, in whose front the Indians were the strongest. Second, lacking understanding of artillery and handicapped by mediocre artillery commander Chishti, 26th Brigade was allotted insufficient artillery resources with 1 artillery battery supporting each of the 3 infantry battalions. Thus 26th Brigade's most important attacking battalion, 26 AK, was a complete failure, with 26 AK battalion a complete failure. The other 2 battalions, 9 AK and 16 AK, remained useless and unable to operationally dislocate the Indians. 9 AK and 16 AK hardly did any fighting and suffered very low casualties, 9 killed and 1 killed in the entire Poonch operation. 2 AK Brigade was even a bigger failure as its battalions hardly did any fighting. It was badly commanded by Brigadier Mir Ejaz Mahmood alias Tony Mahmood, and its battalions behaved disgracefully. 5 AK did not do any fighting, 5 FF did not do any fighting, 7 AK was a total failure from the start, and 19 AK also hardly did any fighting. 51 Punjab, which was launched in the end, was a total failure and generated false reports and did nominal fighting. So, this ends the Poonch operation, and more later on this.